Madam, let us start now. Let others join in between. There is no issue. As such, our recording will be there, and we can, upload the recording. Those who have missed the session, they can see the recording.
Acha, I will start it now. Acha, I just want to say that they have asked me for the PPTs. So I will share, I have made 4 PPTs for 4 blocks. So I will share all those PPTs with you as you have the email ID of all of them. You can share it with them.
Yes,
That,
yes,
that would be maybe if it is of helpful, if they feel it provides them little guidance how to go about it.
yes.
So probably maybe on Friday I will share it with you also. In the morning I will share, and then maybe you can share it with them.
Yes, yes. I will send in their respective emails so that
Mm-hmm.
everybody will get the PPT and they will get the benefit from that.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you,
So
madam. Please take over.
yeah, all right. Thank you. Yeah. So basically, before I begin my session for today, uh, just a recap. You know, just to share that on last Friday we had talked about culture. We discussed the characteristics of culture, relationship of culture with society and individuals, and then plurality of culture. Then we touched upon social stratification. That was the subject where I talked about caste and class, and that was related to our Indian culture. So that's how it is. And then we talked about state. So in state, we talked about constitution, law, legislature, executive, judiciary. We also talked about welfare state. We talked about citizenship. We talked about nationalism. So likewise, we touched on different aspects related to state. Now, the thing is, one of you had asked me, is that I want to know, is that person is there who asked me on Friday a difference between state and culture? Is that person is here? Can any one of you say is that person is here? Or if that person is not here, then I will take up this issue when he joins. That specific question was asked by him. So, in that case, I will take up that issue when he is there in the group. Is it okay? Anybody can say or write in a group, or just somebody please respond to me?
Yes, madam,
Okay, ma.
the person was Buba, and
Mm-hmm.
is he? I don't know whether it's right now has joined, but let me check. It seems it's not on by now.
Mm-hmm. So, because if he has
Yes,
not joined, and specifically the question was asked by that person, so I want, and maybe when he joins, you people can let me know, or in the end, whenever you feel, then I will take up that issue to respond to that query. So that is okay.
yes, yeah.
Fine. All right. So for now, um, I will now. You have to give me some time. I will try to. Um, just a minute, huh? I will now slowly take up this the PPT for today's session. I will take up that, and then accordingly I will discuss with you people. Basically, actually, the today we are going to discuss about the block third, and block three is going to talk about basically the social institution of marriage. See, social institution of marriage, we have discussed a little bit about it in our second class also, you know. So today we are going to discuss this subject in detail. Mm. Yeah, fine. And now you all can see this. Yeah. So this is the our block 3, that is social institution of marriage, and our first unit is about marriage and family, choosing of life partner. Isn't it of interest to you all? Because we all are out of the group which has joined today. Few of you may be married, may not be married. I'm not sure how many of you are very young and how many of you have joined this course in a later age. So I'm not sure about it because we never had that kind of an interaction. Whereas I am so used to whenever I go for any session, because as of now, from last 1.5 years or 2 years, but actually I am taking the sessions mainly on the issue of child protection from last maybe you can say around 15 to 20 years. So whenever I go for the session, I always ask my people who are there in that group to introduce themselves. When there is a session of introduction, you know, then for me also it is good to know who all are my students, who all are learning, that listening to me and taking the advantage of my session. That helps me. So as we don't have that kind of a introduction, so as I don't really know much about you people, but we can in between talk about it. And today I felt that this subject is such, I would like you all to kind of, speak up, share your views on it, how it is there in your country. Although you have certain differences in your countries, but basically it's that. So, unit 1, as I said, is marriage and family, choosing of life partner. So, first it is meaning of marriage, then functions and purpose of marriage, then family and types of family pattern, then choosing a partner. So this is what in unit 1 we are going to cover all different aspects. So we all know that family form an essential part of human evolution. Uh, the concept of marriage and the purpose and functions of marriage are something which we are going to learn about it. See, see, the term marriage had different meaning, you know. So marriage basically is a common term that we come across in our daily life. The term marriage had different meaning and connotations for different people. Marriage is not an integral part of human nature, but it is man-made custom of institution which was present even in prehistoric time. It is not a natural relationship, but a conscious commitment between a man and woman. This is something which is very important. This basic, thing what is written over here explains us how to understand the concept of marriage. So, uh, the first thing here is marriage as a relationship. So we all know marriage is something which is a relationship between a man and a woman. So this is what it is, marriage as a relationship. Then we have to understand marriage as an institution. In our first session, we talked about institutions. So marriage is considered one of the important institution in society. So, marriage is a union of man and woman, basically, their bodies, minds, and souls, emotions, and desires. This is something which is really important. Essence of this union is love. Basically, marriage, we all feel, and as far as my understanding goes, we all believe that marriage is to be considered a union. It's a union that is made of love. you know it's considered to be a primary relationship because it is a personal relationship between the partners. As per Lin Yutan, he is a sociologist, he said it's something very nice to hear. Woman is water and man is clay, and clay holds the water and gives it substance in which water moves and lives and has its full being. It has been explained how it is, how we can consider woman as a water and man as a clay, and how their relationship is being built. So this is really nice. Then we know the biological aspect of marriage. The biological aspect of marriage is something that, see, even the animal mates but man marries. Animal also, we know about animals because animals also produce their, whichever, whether it is cat, dog, buffalo, cow, whatever animal we name, take a name, they all have their offsprings. They all give birth to the children. But the concept of marriage or something that is not there in animals or birds or any other creature in our world. So so this is what the sex instinct is one of the basic instincts for reproduction. We all are aware of that. In the case of man, however, from the beginning of society, this instinct has been subjected to distinct regulations and control. Marriage may be defined as mechanism of regulation and control of biological production. So this is important. This is something which we really need to understand, that it is something which has a biological concept and biological meaning to the relationship in marriage. Then the social aspect of marriage, the social aspect of marriage. See, the social aspect of marriage is, again, there's a true love between the man and woman in marriage is a complete giving of one to another. This is a belief that when the two people, a man and woman especially, if they get married, there is some kind of a, it's a thing that there should be a union of the souls and minds. There should be a union of emotions and wills. All these imply complete, exclusive, and lifelong giving of one side to the other. You know? Like one person, whether it's male or a female, can give that to another person. Then psychological aspect of marriage. Psychological aspect is marriage are again an integral part of human existence. In marriage, man's being longing of communication and completeness find its natural culmination. Human beings find their fulfillment as men and women. Marriage is the means by which two persons seeking a more perfect life give themselves totally to each other. This is basically a psychological thing, that if you are married, if you are in a marital relationship, you are there to support each other, you are there for each other. This is what it is. Legal aspect of marriage, this legal aspect of marriage. uh, Legal aspect of marriage must be legitimate. So marriage should get legal, social, and civil acceptance. It is very important when there is a marriage. The legal sanction of marriage is based on prevailing social norms and customs. So we will go and study about it in more detail. Like in India, when we talk about legality, there is a age fixed, that for a girl, for a female, a marriage age is 18 years. For a boy, for a male, the age is fixed as 21 years. So anybody, a girl above the age of 18 and a boy above the age of 21 can get married as per the rituals of the of the society, and according to their religion they can get married. So this is about meaning of marriage, what we need to understand by that. Now, functions and purpose of marriage. Functions and purpose of marriage. The first is marriage for union and procreation. We all know that we all are, generally, who all are there in today's class, we all believe, we all understand that we all, you know Most likely we all are born to a married couple, to our married parents, you know. So this is what it is. It is only by for procreation, you know. Marriage basically is considered to be a union and procreation. Union in marriage is a medium of physical, psychological, and spiritual communication of love and commitment. Marriage for sex. So, this is again a belief, you know. Generally, we have a kind of a belief that if two people get married, they are kind of legally sanctioned and legally permitted to have a sexual relationship with each other, you know. So natural end of sexual relationship is and natural end of sexual relationship is conception of children. That again we all are aware of it, that we are born only out of the sex between a couple, between a husband and wife, when they had a sexual relationship. As a result, the child was conceived and then born. So this is how it is. Hence, the procreation of children is an essential purpose of marriage, you know. So this is what is basically we need to understand. Then marriage for companionship and friendship. You know, marriage for companionship and friendship. So marriage for companionship is like, you know, that most important need of human being is the intimacy. You know, we want to have a kind of a very nice kind of a intimacy with each other. We so the when we say that marriage for companionship and leadership, it is basically most important need of human being is intimacy. You know, it is basically a commitment to another human being. You know, friendship is the cornerstone of marriage, which lasts even when the sexual desire is over. Generally, you know, it is seen that with age, the sexual desire doesn't remain the same in all ages. Generally, after 50 or after 60s, the sexual desire generally reduces. It is not a natural phenomenon for every human being, but more or less, it is something which is being accepted. It's a kind of accepted fact that it, you know, with age, the sexual thing turns slightly on a lower side, but the companionship between the couple, this is also, you may have also observed it, and I have observed it in my families and my people who were my kind of my in-laws or my parents or my grandparents. You know, I have seen this. You may have also observed that the relationship generally, you know, tend to have a more of a friendly relationship with, it is a kind of a more family relationship with each other, you know. I wanted to see, I'm not able to see any. So this is what it is, that you know, even if there is no sexual relationship, but there is a kind of commitment, there is something called that we are committed to each other, है ना? You can have a kind of a friendly relationship to each other. So marriage for socialization. See, marriage is means through which the socialization and growth of a person reach its fulfillment. It provides numerous opportunities to bring about security, cooperation, love. You know, so the marriage is to create a family, to provide the natural environment in which a person can realize himself or herself and reach out to others in an attitude of dedication and service. So this is again a way of socialization. Then marriage for matured relationship. See, another purpose of marriage is attainment of maturity through the establishment of relationship in marriage. So this is again something which is important. See, here it says that some practical purpose or utilitarian aspects of marriage. It is just explained, it ensures security to women who have to undergo long periods of pregnancy. It provides security to offsprings. It ensures the health life, which gives stability to society. It makes a society more cohesive through relationship. It simplifies blood relationships. So this is what we understand by functions and purpose of marriage. Now, mm, mm, see, now it says like the family. We have studied about the family in our last class also. So just like marriage, family is also a very familiar term. We all come from our families. We see families around us. Family is an integral part of our life. So it is important. Yeah. So need for the family. So we all know we need a family. You know, any child who's born, he cannot be. We had talked about it. I think in my first class also I had talked about it that when a child is born, he cannot, socialize on his own alone. He needs a care, love. The way he is being raised, that all depends on the family. So we need a family. We need parents, grandparents, relatives in the family who can help a child to grow. You know, so, like it states here, the human infant is born helpless. It has a potential for physical and mental development, but it requires years to achieve its maturity. This is what we have to understand by this. Then, evolution of a family. How the family can be evolved. The family as a group of parents and offsprings existed even before the appearance of man upon this planet. You know, so this is a great deal of difference between the family life of apes, mammals, birds, than that of a man. This is what I just a few minutes back also I spoke about that. There is, we can see that there are the human beings have that kind of a family life which we have not seen, for that matter, in animals or in mammals or any or in birds, like that. So it says that in case of a man, family behavior varies greatly from one society to another. It says in the family, in the animal family, the behavior of the member is motivated by instinct. Whereas, in the human family, it is motivated by the culture. We studied the culture, we have seen, we have read about the culture, the various means and forms of culture. We noticed, that everything is we learn through our culture. So this is what it says. So the human family life, family structure and functions are shaped by its culture. So this is again important. Then it says definitions of family. Here it talked about different things related to families, and it says that family has an important definition. I'll just read out one definition. I won't go much in detail. It says it can be defined as a group of persons united by the ties of marriage, blood, or adoption, constituting a single household, interacting and communicating with each other in their respective social roles as husband and wife, mother and father, son and daughter, brother and sisters, and creating and maintaining a common culture. This is what is being defined in short. Now, that we have studied so much about this, and this is one way of explaining this family, how we can understand the family. It is also explained that family is a community of people living together in an environment which is a center of healing, a place where one can live, where one can admit one's frustrations, stupidities, and anger to people who do not retaliate. If we can in family life, generally it is saying even if there are fights, very soon we get, very soon we understand, and still we can easily relate to each other. Even if we are angry with one of the family members, but sooner or later, just by one mean or the other mean, we again get together, and that angerness gets over. This is how it is. Then it says, the Indian family. It talks about in India there is a family system. All over the world is changing, and family relations are becoming weaker and weaker day by day. Influence of the family over the children is weakening due to the great social, political, and economic changes. So, this is something we are being observing even in Indian family structure also, that with the empowerment of women and the women getting more and more educated, the traditional family painters are gradually disappearing. Modernization has its roots in westernization. This is what has been explained in this. Then we talked about uh, types of family patterns. So types of family patterns, mainly there are three types of family patterns has been explained here. Large patriarchal family. See, when we talk about large patriarchal family, so large patriarchal family means where there are means parents, their children, their parents, and their grandparents, means where the uncle aunts, that they are also a part of it, that great grandparents, not only grandparents, that great grandparents are also residing in a same kind of a family, that is called a large patriarchal family. Then small patriarchal family, in this it means that there's a couple has their children, and they have you know their parents, or unmarried siblings, brothers and sisters are also staying in that family. So that is a kind of a small patriarchal family. And third is modern modern democratic or nuclear family. It is generally we call it nuclear family. In India, we always use this term nuclear family for that. Nuclear family is the family where there are parents and their children, are staying in that kind of a structure. So this is what is the types of family patterns. Then then it says, uh, Betavo Dennis has raised a hand. Yes, tell me.
Yes, madam, I'd like to know what is the most common type of family in India? That is what the question I'd like to know. What is the most common type of family found in
Most common,
India?
in India, see now the
Yes.
tradition, in India now the tradition is changing, and especially in urbanization, especially the people who are living in urban areas, in cities, there the concept of nuclear family is being, is more than practice. More and more we see nuclear families in urban areas. But if I talk about rural India, when we say around 70% of the India's population is still living in rural areas. So in rural
Yes.
areas, the concept of joint family system or large patriarchal family system is still in
Mm.
existence. It is there. It is still, people are in villages. People are not living in a nuclear family kind of a system. They are either small patriarchal family or a large patriarchal family kind of a system is in existence. They are living like that in rural areas. But in if you ask me, like if I am from Delhi, if you ask me,
Yes.
if I am living in one of the society here, we if just I'm giving you an example here, in this society where I am residing, there are 110 flats. And if I tell
Mm.
you, in most of the flats, either their people are living just in a nuclear family, or they are living with, like, like a husband's parents. Only that kind of a family structure is there. That in some of the cases, some of the families, that a couple with their children and their parents. Matlab, maybe in some cases where one of the parent has already died, so only one single parent is staying. Or nowadays the other trend is coming on, like that children when they are growing up, they are going to different countries or different states for their job opportunities, for employment purposes. So the either the couple is staying alone, or even couple has their older parent, they who are in 70s or 80s staying with them. So this kind of a family structure is in cities, but in villages, as I
Yes.
said, yeah, there the patriarchal system or the small patriarchal system is in existence. It is there. How is it about you are from?
Yeah, actually, as you have tried to explain, it is the difference is the similarity because here in Uganda,
Mm-hmm.
those who are living in villages or in rural areas,
Mm-hmm.
most of them they are in extended families. You find others in nuclear, others like that. And
Hmm.
those living in towns, they only live. We will find that the parent and their young ones or their kids only that. So you cannot
Mm-hmm.
find their relatives unless you might find their uh, helpers or these workers who can help them to handle family issues. Only that.
Mm-hmm.
That is the setting here in Uganda.
Okay, fine. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, all right. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, madam.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
So, so now we will go about some functions and purpose of marriage. Mm, 1 minute. Just say 1 minute. Huh? Yeah, this we had studied earlier. Family types of family. Now it is this. Yeah. So now I will go to this. Choosing a partner. See, now when we talk about choosing a partner, this is something it says marriage is a lifelong commitment and relationship, and hence the selection of a partner is very important. The choice of an ideal partner is one of the basis requirement for a successful marriage. There are certain qualities or social expectations that are commonly appreciated in a partner. There should be compatibility between the partner in maturity, health, behavior patterns, or characters, caste, and religion, economic status, education, intelligence, attitudes, and values on the basis orientation to life, etc. So this is again it here it explains in detail, how to go about it. So it talks about maturity. We understand this concept maturity. Then it says emotional maturity. See, these are the things which are really have a meaning. When we talk about maturity, as I said, that there is a marriage, there is a age that 18 and 21 girl and a boy. So basically, we want like the when two people are getting married, they should be mature enough to understand each other. And emotional maturity is again very important because emotional it consists of the ability to control one's emotions and passions. है ना? Emotional maturity helps to develop self restraint and attitude of self sacrifices. This is again something which is important. Then when we say I'm not going to go into detail on this is easier, you all can study and understand. Then social maturity, you know social maturity is again something which is very important. Social maturity means when one can relate oneself to other in a selfless and responsible manner. You know, every boy and girl should have an experience of social life before marriage. When we understand, when we are living in a society, we understand the reasons, the purpose, and the family backgrounds, and what kind of a family background we are coming from, and what is our kind of a rights and duties in marriage. So when we understand all that aspects, it helps us to lead a nice good life. Intellectual maturity is again that comes from your educational background and what kind of a, basically it is the ability to understand persons, events, situations and problems. It is the capacity to formulate one's ideas, opinions, and judgments without depending on others. If you have intellectual maturity, you can understand your partner, more easily. So we come to know of our own strengths and weaknesses, our abilities, disabilities. We gain insight into our feelings, thinking, and behavior. So this is something which is again important. Then health and physical structure. Again, when two people are getting married, they generally get married to a person who's healthy, who doesn't even have any kind of health issues or health problems. So this is again, mostly in I don't know about your country, but in India, at certain people, maybe in a, you can say in a upper middle class or the higher class families, if there is a arranged marriage, so they will probably like to have the HIV test done or certain things like that to know that there is no person who's sick or has any kind of a health issues. So this is again a kind of a requirement. Maybe somebody may not even like to have the test reports, but may like to generally inquire about the health of the partner with whom he or she is going to get married. Then behavior patterns or character and conduct. Again, this is something which is a requirement. In India, to tell you, I'm just giving you a small example. In arranged marriages, where there is a like sometimes there's a newspaper advertisement where the person is looking for a spouse, and then through their some sources they try to get the inquiry done of a person, about the character of a person, that there is nothing against him, there is no deviant kind of a behavior of that person. So there, the family, for example, generally the girl's parents like to know about the boy's family, that male person's family, that he is coming from a good kind of a background, family background, and there is, and he probably has a decent income and everything. Then caste and religion. See, when we come to caste and religion, so caste and religion is something which is again a system in India. Most of the couples believe to get married in the same caste, and religion, it is not easy. Now, you will find in India very rarely. I would say maybe not even 5% people get married in different religions. It's very, very less, and especially generally the society doesn't accept. And if it is a marriage between Hindu and Muslim, that is more or less very difficult to accept. Though even in my, because I am like you all are doing a social work course, and I am in this field working from the last 30 to 30 years, and I have come across very good couples, so that is something which I have seen, but uh, generally it is an unacceptable uh, trend in India. Yes, Batavo, Dennis.
Yeah. To what extent do parents take part in choosing a partner for their children in India?
What extent? I would say maybe around 70% of the cases. I don't think even 30% of the cases are there where the girl or the boy choose to marry, as per their decision. It is still in India, the concept of arranged marriage is more in prevalence.
Okay.
Yeah, in rural India, it is hardly there, but in urban area also, yeah, there are more and more love marriages are taking place, but still, I'm just giving you an example. If you like, if my daughter is now in her mid 20s, but she has not found, or she has not decided to get married, and she has not found anybody with whom she loves and with whom she thinks they can tomorrow she will get married. She said maybe the time will tell. I don't know whether you will choose for me or I will choose for myself. So, even this kind of a thing is also in existence. She says even that as of date, you know. So she said, I'm not sure. I have not found anybody till date, and in future also I cannot say whether I allow you
Madam,
to find for somebody.
but
So it
maybe
is
the problem
basically,
is the
uh,
caste and religion.
it is not only a religion, it is otherwise also. Sometimes now, see, in India, one thing we
Mm,
all have noticed, that girls are also getting educated. When the girls are also getting educated, they also play an important role when the decision for their marriage take place. This is
mm.
something, this kind of a trend is changing in India, you know. So the girls
Yeah.
want at least their consent to be taken into consideration, you know.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is how it is. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, madam.
Hmm. So I like your questions, and I hope the others also like the way he is asking, and you may be liking the my responses also, and other people can also. I would really love to hear from others also who are in today's class, and because in the beginning only in today's class I said today we will have more informal kind of a discussion. Our subject is such, it is not that I only have to speak it out, it is very generic, and we all know the concept of today's our discussion, so you all can contribute. Okay. So uh, so we have social and economic status. This is again something which is being taken into consideration when the two people get married. So their background, their economic status, how they are, and there is not much of a difference. This is again something which is taken into consideration. You know, so today dowry in India, dowry problem is there in existence. Even today in most of the states it is there, that most of the states there is a demand for dowry, and it is, even there are many laws and things are there, but still people are giving dowry, and there is a demand for dowry that is there. So I really don't know how to say anything about it, but it is there in existence. So then education and intelligence again. Education and intelligence, educated, if the boy is educated in today's time, if the boy is educated, he wants his partner. The girl should also be educated, and in today's time, but in urban communities like in cities, it is there, if the boy is especially from a service class, and if he is working, he always wants his partner should also be educated and willing to work, because that will add to the income, because everything is so expensive. So it will help to have a smooth comfortable life. So this is a kind of a trend in India as of date. Then it talks about attitude and values. When it talks about attitudes and values, attitudes and values on the basis of orientation to life. This includes goals, values, religious convictions, general ideas about justice, honesty, truth, etc. Simple tolerance of others' beliefs or conceptions is not enough to establish a lifelong relationship. Temperamental compatibility of the mates prevents problems in marriage. Temperamental means the physiological activity level and response patterns of the individual. The behavior controlling glands of one individual may be different from that of the another individual. So such biological differences helps to explain many of the conflicts in marriages. So compatibility is something which is really important, that plays a very important role in our married life. So now we have talked about choosing a partner also. So we have completed our first unit. So now we'll go to second unit. And second unit talks about marriage in India. So again, it talks about concept of marriage, forms of marriage, marriage among Hindu, Muslims, Christians, and tribals. So concept of marriage, I don't think there is really much to be talked about. It is basically, it again says uh, that economic role is one of the important thing in the family married life. It says the marital role also involves about 40 to 50 years of one's life. The marital role is more important than that of an economic role because the latter involves secondary relations, whereas the former involves only a personal or primary relations. You know, so it says that primary relations. See, it says here, it says that primary relation in marriage has two important functions, one of need gratification and other of social control. So it gratifies biological, psychological, and economic needs of the individuals and also acts as a primary source of morality and ethics. So this is the way it has again explained the concept of marriage. Then views of marriage. So views of marriage here is marriage is an institution which men and women are admitted to family life to live in the intimate personal relationship primarily for the purpose of begetting and rearing children. Indians view on marriage. Now when we talk about Indians view on marriage, so Indian views on marriage is, here it says marriage has been considered a ceremonial gift of the bride by her father or other appropriate relative to the bridegroom in order that both may together fulfill their duties which are necessary for human existence. These duties are dharma, you know, Artha and Kama. Dharma is a religious duty based on ethical values, that is, to do good and attain salvation. In Hindi it calls moksha. Artha is the economic aspect of life, and Kama is the physical or sexual duty to the partner and to produce children to perpetuate race. So this is here in Indian way. It has been explained in three ways: Dharma, Artha, and Kama. Dharma, we understand, is the ethical values to do good and attain moksha or salvation. Artha is the economic aspect, and Kama is the sexual duties to the partner. So this has been explained here. Nothing in Hindu concept of marriage is that is like called a tradition and a religious sacrament, not a contract. It is a holy union. In India, especially in Hindus, India has different religions, but in Hindus, it is basically called a union of two souls and not simply of two bodies. This is something which is very important as per the Hindu religion. However, in Islam says that marriage is an institution ordained for the protection of the society and in order that human beings may guard themselves from foulness and unchastity. Marriage is not a sacrament but a civil contract. In Muslims, it is that. The objective of which are the promotion of normal family life and legalization of children. In Christianity, it means it is a voluntary union for life of one man and one woman to the exclusion of others. So, this is what has been explained here in short about the marriage. Here now it says what are the different forms of marriage. We had touched upon it yesterday, I think on Friday also. Friday or Thursday last class we talked about it. Again, it has explained here in more detail. Mm, you have again raised a hand. Yes, tell me.
Yeah, madam. This is a very funny question, but is it true that in India, the woman or ladies are the one who's to pay dowry to the family of the man? Is it true?
No, I didn't get your question. I'm now sorry. Can you repeat, please?
Yes. Is it true
Mm-hmm.
that in India,
Mm-hmm.
the women or ladies are the one who's to pay dowry to the family of the man?
Mm.
Is it true?
Again, the woman is, what did you say? Woman is?
Hello,
Is
ma.
it true that women?
What he is saying is that, is this true that women in India are the ones to pay dowry in terms of marriage?
Women in India, yes, see, this is what I said a few minutes back also, that that dowry is still in existence in India, and in India, it is from a girl's family side where dowry is given to the boy's side. It is still there in existence in most of the states. I won't say it is everywhere, but at most of the places it is still there in existence. The dowry is there. Yeah, people are going for dowry. Yeah, there is sometimes there is a demand, and sometimes it is only the wish of the girl's family how much dowry are they going to give, and the boy side may not demand it, but may not even refuse it. It's that kind of a thing. Okay.
Yeah, thank you, madam.
Yeah. So monogamy is something which we all understand. Monogamy is one man marries one woman. That is a monogamy. That is a general concept in existence for all of us when we are leading a life. This is more prevalent. Huh? Then it says polygamy. Polygamy is something where one man with more than one female marries more than one woman, and that is uh, in other words, its plurality of wives is also used. A term is being used. According to Dharm Shastra, a man could marry again. It says here again that a man could marry again after 10 years of his first marriage if his first wife is barren, not able to produce children, or he could marry after 13 or 14 years if he had only daughters from his wife and wanted a son. So this is a, it earlier in our past, it may be around 500 years back, or even maybe a very early ages, this kind of a concept of marriage was there, and this kind of permission was granted, but now it is not there. Now the law doesn't permit this kind of a marriage. As it has been explained by Manu. Manu again was a ancient time author that says that a man can marry another woman after 8 years of his first marriage if his wife is barren. After 10 years, if children produced by his wife do not remain alive. After 11 years, if the wife produces only daughters. And immediately after marriage, if his wife is quarrelsome, rebellious, or harsh. We have one granth, that Mahabharat says that a man who marries twice without any rational cause commits a sin for which there is no penance. Fine. So this was also said in Mahabharata. So now polyandry. Polyandry is something where one woman marries more than one man. Hmm. This was found, it says here, among the Todas and Kotas of Nilgiris in South India. I'm not really aware of these places, but this is what has been explained here. So, then again in Mahabharata, we, in our in our I don't know whether you have heard about these terms about Ramayana and Mahabharata. These were the two main religious, Hindu religious books used to be and believed of Hindu religion. So there they talked about, that one woman getting married to five Pandavas in this Mahabharata. So this concept was there that old. It's very, very old thing. Then there are two more terms explained here, levirate and sororate. Levirate is a form of marriage under which a woman is taken as the wife of late husband's younger brother or even during the lifetime of the elder brother, So, mostly it is still there in some parts of some villages where if a husband, husband dies, then the woman gets married to the younger brother of that husband. So, this is what it is. Then, sororate means wives of a man are invariably married the sisters, the man marries sisters and so, in this form of marriage, several sisters are simultaneously or potentially the spouses of the same man. This is the term of surrogate. Then, now, see, then it says here marriage among Hindus, Muslim, Christians, and tribals. So it says there are different kind of marriages are explained here in Hindus. I'm not going into details. Then marriage among Muslims, we have talked about it here just five, 5-10 minutes back. I spoke about it. So I'm not going to talk about marriage among Hindus, among Muslims, among Christians, and among tribals. Tribals, I have not talked this, so family comes into being only through the establishment of cultural, controlled, and sanctioned marital relations. Marriage, therefore, is universal. We find various forms of prescriptions and prescriptions regarding marriage among tribes also. So, I'm not really going into detail of that. So, this explains about this. Anybody has any questions? Because now, see, uh, do you want me to say certain things, more details about marriage among Muslims or marriage among Christians? Faisal, please.
Yeah, yes, ma'am. I want
Yes.
to ask concerning the issue of this types of marriage
Sorry,
between
sorry.
the yes. I say I want to ask question regarding to this the forms of marriage.
Mm-hmm.
I want to have a clear explanation. What are the interrelations between those monogamy marriage and the polyandry marriage? Is that any interrelation between those terms of those forms of marriage? That's what.
Huh. Like in the word, I can say this in the word. We believe in our way of marriage is a system of monogamy, where one man is getting married to a one woman. This is there in existence. When I talked about polygamy or polyandry, that is a system which was there in our past. That talked about these terms, that polygamy basically, like, that one man is getting married to more than one woman, but it is not in existence now. I don't see that kind of a marriage is happening more often in our day to day living in our society. That is not a prevalence. This is something when we read about our past sculptures or certain things, so somewhere we have read about this kind of a thing. But you also know, and I also know, in Muslims, in Muslims, it is much easier to get a divorce to and get married to another woman, but this is again after a divorce. Generally, it is a way, but in certain Muslim communities, I have heard that there are two or three women are living with the same man after marriage, but that is, I don't know, I don't find that kind of a marriages in existence in Indian culture. When I talk about India, so in India, this practice is not really there in existence. I don't know about your country how it is. You can put light to it. You can share certain
Yeah,
things.
similar to it because I'm Nigerian, but here in Nigeria, of course, for example, as a Muslims, ummas, they usually used to have four wives. Understand? You can marry first wife, second wife, and third wife, and fourth wife if you like. But for so Christian here in Nigeria is only, you can only marry one wife as their, based on their own rules and
Faisal, you
regulations.
are not clear enough. We cannot hear you.
Okay, I said here in Nigeria, am I
Hmm.
audible?
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah.
Here in Nigeria, as Muslims, they do used to marry four wives. This one is
Hmm.
legal. Unlike Christians here in Nigeria, they do used to marry only one wife according to their only the legal rules and regulation, the Bibles as the Bible constitution. So the interrelation here in Nigeria between the Christian and the Muslim, there is no any interrelation because the Muslim and the Christians are the most dominant religion here in Nigeria. That's the only religion we have in Nigeria. They are the most dominant. That's
Hmm.
what I
Is it still in prevalence, or it was used to be earlier?
You say?
Is this practice is still in existence, or it used to be there earlier?
Yeah, yeah. Up to now, it's still existing. Up to now. Up to now.
Okay. Okay. Hmm.
Thank you.
It is, see, about, I don't know the law of your country, how the law permits, because in India, as per the law, it is generally not permitted. Generally, this kind of marriage is not permitted here.
Yeah, but here in Nigeria, it's legal. It's permitted. As a Muslim, you can marry four wives unless you have the capability and the means of their responsibilities. But
Hmm.
in Christianity, it's only one man, one woman. In Muslim society, you can only one man, four women. So that's it.
Okay, yeah, but here in India, this practice is not really in existence. So,
Right?
this means you in your country in Nigeria, polygamy is more in existence.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Exactly. Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
Madam,
Yes, Dennis. Yeah.
yes, why is it in India it is not accepted? Why?
See, in India also, see, I am living in Delhi. In Delhi, I don't come across, I do come across because I studied in a Muslim college, Muslim university. Jamia Millia is a Muslim university. There also, when I was studying, that was 32 years back, maybe 35 years back when I was studying,
Yes.
I never came across families where there were more than
Mm.
one wife in existence. So generally, in educated class, this kind of a families are not really in existence, because educated people in today's time, and especially due to the due to our life cycle, kind of a life cycle today, the approach and everything is becoming so expensive, and then people are finding it difficult to raise more than one wife and then have many children. This is again, economic reason is also a reason, otherwise education is another reason.
Ah,
Due to these two reasons, in India this practice is not really in existence. This is there. Yeah, Faisal.
Yeah, Ma, regarding to just what you are saying, how the Muslims there in India, how are they practicing their own marriage? Is it similar to us here in Nigeria, or there are some, there are some differences between here and there? But I know here in Nigeria, firstly, you can marry one wife, but if you have the means as a Muslim, you can add up to four. But it's not
Hmm.
not
necessary to
only
marry.
in Nigeria, but even here in Uganda, it is the same.
All right,
Muslims,
you see.
you can marry four and above, but
Yeah,
Christians, for them they take one or two. It depends.
yeah, this thing lies in religion belief. Understand? As a Muslim woman, you can marry one, two, three to four, unless you have the
Yes,
capability to retain.
See, but this is
yes,
what I said. It is in India, it is mainly because of the education and because of the economic reasons. The Muslims, whoever I know, being just as I said, I studied in a Muslim university and I have many Muslim friends. So I have not come across, means they are not in my acquaintance. So as of me, matlab, if you ask me, I don't know, because even in UP, in Lucknow, I had been in Lucknow also. Lucknow is also considered to be a very good place, but there are many Muslim families. But there also, I have not really heard of people getting married to more than one woman. So there also the practice of one man marrying a one woman in existence in Muslims also.
Yes, Yes,
So
ma.
this
It's
practice is
not
there. Yeah. Yeah.
as a Muslim ummah. It's not lottery for you. If you don't have the means, to even get married, you can stand
Yeah, this is
But
the
so
like
this is the way,
interestingly,
this is the way. This is what today again. Even the UN also, I don't think really appreciate one man getting married to a more woman, because see, because then we talk about the women empowerment. So we consider,
yeah.
if you consider, if you ask me personally, if you ask my personal opinion, I would say, why a man
Mm,
only is permitted to have more than one wife. If that is a practice, that practice should be allowed even in case of female also. But if it is there
yes.
in your religion, if it is there where it has been written, but as the changes, as the people are getting educated, and we had talked about industrialization, urbanization, and things like that, when we studied about every aspect, that somehow, yeah, it's a kind of a, your attitude, your values, your beliefs, your, how you want to go about it. If somebody wants to marry, okay, the religion permits, but the question is, if it is only permitted by the religion, and religion has these kind of terms, that was there in existence long, long, long back. But with time, there are changes. I like, in the last, this is our fourth class, and every class we study or we talk about things, the changes are taking place in society's existence. So this is again something due to different reasons, and due to woman equality of women. When we talk on all
Mhm.
those angles, these are the things. This is not considered a good practice. You may be, it is not considered as a good practice. It is, if it is permitted
Yeah.
in your country and you feel that this is something a good idea,
Yeah.
I don't want to comment on it,
But
because my comments would be
yes,
very partial. My comment would be very partial in
uh,
nature, and you may not like that. So I don't really want to give that kind of a thing. It is, we have to respect the religious values, we have to respect. But as I said, this education and economic status has kind of a given a bar
mhm.
in Indian
But
settings.
for
So yeah.
madam, for us, even the population itself here in Uganda, we'll talk about Uganda majorly because I'm a Ugandan. Here in Uganda, women are many than men. So what do you expect?
Means.
Basing on the research, women
Hmm.
are many than men.
Hmm.
They even doubled the men.
Hmm. So
When if
yeah,
yeah,
if that is the case, then if man is getting married to more than one woman, in a way it is good. If that kind of a
yeah.
statistics are there. So that's the reason I said. But in even I said, in my one of the classes, I said that, that India is number one in the world as far as population is concerned. So we have,
Mm,
and in many of the states, the ratio, when we talk about sex ratio, that female sex ratio is very poor. So here, this
yes.
picture cannot, this kind of a existence cannot even take place. It is not even practically possible for men to get more than one wife. Even people are
Because
struggling,
the women
even,
are
yeah,
few
are
in
less.
India.
And people are even struggling to have one wife. Nowadays, this
Oh.
kind of a practice is also happening in some of the states.
let it
In some of the
let them
states, in some of the places, this kind of a
yes.
issue is also being raised. Now there is one question by Anas Salisu. Anas, yes,
Let
Hello, ma.
them visit Uganda.
yes,
Hello, ma.
Anas, yeah.
Here we in Nigeria, mostly in the northern part of the country,
Mm-hmm.
in in Islam
Mm-hmm.
or Muslims in the north, it's
Mm-hmm.
not by much. What the religion says that you can marry in twos, in threes, in fours. If you cannot hold them tight, you marry one. It's enough for you.
Mm-hmm.
But there is the pagans here in the north.
Mm-hmm.
We call them Maugawa in our language. They marry more than 10 wives. If you wish, you can marry more than 10 wives.
Mm,
It's your privilege. You want to feed them, clothe them, etc. But in their tribe, a
mm,
woman is the one to take the responsibilities of her husband. She goes to farm, she goes to the market and do whatsoever the man
mm,
will do in Islam.
mm,
So our difference is that in Islamically, the husband is the one to go and find food for his wives, if even if they are poor. But
mm,
in the
mm,
pagan, the
mm,
woman is the one responsible for the food of the family.
mhm.
That's what I want to ask.
You want to ask, or you are just saying, na?
I
You had
want
just,
to add what I'm saying is that
you are just
here
saying, na? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
pagan
See,
not
In India, as you know, and we have studied in all our four classes, that woman is kind of a woman empowerment, and woman now is getting more and more educated and going out for work, and so so it is. But in your countries, as I heard from Dennis also, that there are women are much more than in number when it comes to the sex ratio. There are the number of females are much more higher than men. So that kind of a custom what you people are following, maybe for the right cause, for the right reason, you know. But
okay.
as in India, this kind of a practice is not possible due to the reasons what I had given earlier. So this is there in practice. So this is how it is. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, ma.
So now we move further. So now the third unit, and the third unit is society, culture, religion, and family values. See, so now we will talk about this. Basically, it says that family life education is based on values and relationship. है ना? Family is a word that triggers emotions in most people. See, this is what we always say. Family means we can share our views, our different kind of a approach, our emotions. We can share our feelings with each other. That is there in the family. Again, here it has been explained, and in this that 1 minute. Family life, so it says a family is a community of persons related to one another, living together in an environment of understanding and acceptance. A family is a place where one can freely express one's feelings, emotions, and needs without being threatened or ashamed of them. Family is a place where one can feel security, wholeness, and a sense of being wanted. This is something which is very important. We had earlier also talked about patriarchal family system and small family system. Now it is explained, now the terms are used in a different way. Large joint family system, as we all know, it's a kind of a family which we have talked earlier also. It is large joint family means like patriarchal family, where three or four generation and parents and offsprings live together. In Hindi we called it chacha, chacha taya kind of a word. The younger and the older brother of a couple, and their children and things like that. So there are three or four generations. you know this mostly seen in rural areas, as I said earlier also, that in India, joint family kind of a structure is visible in our rural part of India. Now it explains here what are the advantages of the joint family system. So the my man grows up with the knowledge of people around. confidence and skill in family business matters. Children grow up with the experience of life cycles, birth, maturation, marriage, and death. There is no difficulty of boy girl relationship, no problem of single woman, no problem of single or neglected child, and marriages are arranged by parents. So there was a generally it is observed in joint family systems there is most prevalences of arranged marriages. The parents only or the grandparents all the other family members they arrange for the any marriage in the family of any daughter. In a joint family the wisdom and experience of elders are shared, so it has certain disadvantages. What are the disadvantages? In the joint family, the supreme authority is vested in the senior male member. It is something which is generally observed that joint family system is always most of the time is male dominant, and they are the eldest in the family. Whosoever is the eldest male in the family, it is being dominated by that. So so the whole life of the family goes according to his efficiency and attitude. Junior members may not take up any responsibility and initiatives. There is no freedom for individuals, especially women. They are not even free to take any decisions. So this is something which has been seen. Then it says about the nuclear family. Nuclear family, as we talked earlier, also nuclear family means where husband, wife, and their children are staying. And in urban areas, as I said, it is more of prevalence. So, what are the advantages? So, there is basically more of financial security and individual freedom. There is nobody, they don't need to, like husband and wife, don't need to ask their parents how to go about it, how to they don't need to ask their parents or any other relative. If they have to take any decision they take it on their own. So this is what, and financial security, whatever their earning is, they know they have to survive as per their earning, their income, they have to lead their life. So this time of families can easily adopt to social changes. See, it's easier, if they're living in a nuclear family, it's easier to accept the changes that is occurring in our society. And disadvantages, there is nobody to help and guide the member, especially if there is any conflict arises, if there are any kind of problems, any kind of issues arises. So there is no guidance, there is no senior person in the family who can guide how to resolve if there is any conflict has happened. So that kind of a thing. Emotional security, practical wisdom and emotional security generally lacks in nuclear families, and there is nobody to look after the children. So this is again a problem. If both husband and wife are going out for work, and if the children are small, they have to leave them in crutches or some places because there is no elder in the home to look after and raise their children. So this kind of a problems are generally seen, and they miss children miss the protection and affection of grandparents. Working mother have to leave the children with the crutches, as I said. Then this is what it is. Then extended family. Now the concept of, as I was mentioning about my society where I am living, so somehow the concept of extended family is still in existence in certain cities. So this midway between the joint family and the nuclear family. So extended family is a later development of the joint family system. So this is here the nuclear family is extended with sons marrying and bringing of children and remaining with the original family of the parents. Like as I was telling you about my society where I am residing, so this is also an observation. Like I am here living for last 11 years. So what I have observed that the parents like us, the families like us who have come, and if our children are now turning into the age of getting married, so extended family means if my child is getting married, my son is getting married, his wife will come and stay with me, and tomorrow when they have children, so they will stay with me. So that is a kind of a extended family system which is now in cities somehow it is being accepted, and people are having this kind of a extended family system. So what kind of advantages you see in this kind of a system? So children are looked after properly. Grandparents also may not feel loneliness, will be happy with their children and grandparents, grandchildren. So, and there is a security and guidance to their son and daughters who are newly married. And so this is and disadvantages too dominating at times when, like, if the parents like me, if we are educated, and sometimes we become very much dominating. So this kind of approach sometimes have certain disadvantages in this kind of a marriage system. Then we see, we have read about this. This is important. We talked about it. Now we have aspects of value formation in family. So this is again something which we have to study. See, the definition of values. Values are those ideas which direct our thinking and living and give meaning to our existence. The values we hold dear are expressed in our actions by which our lives receive a certain amount of identity. You know, so so this is what it is. It says, what are the classification? How do we classify? How do we classify the values? It says values can be classified into three groups: personal, social, and neutral. This is the way it has been explained. Values can also be classified as material values and higher values. Material things have their own values. Material things like what? Food, physical health, clothes are such visible values by which one exhibits one's identity and are essential for survival in a society. What are higher values? Higher values are seen only by way of our behavior. Since food is necessary for human life, working for daily food is a value, but to share what one has with other needy people is a higher value. So it has been explained with the concept of food. Food is something if you need for yourself is a value. But when you the food what you have already have with you and you share with the person who's needed, that shows your higher values. This is the way it has been explained. Then you have socialization and value formation. So socialization is a process through which the child absorbs, assimilates, and internalizes socio-cultural and religious practices from the significant persons in his her life. Example: parents, teachers, siblings. Thus a child acquires attitudes and values, some of which pertains to moral standards and other relating to people, love and hate, superior and inferior, etc. This is what it is. So for an individual infant to survive, it must be socialized. There is a structural relationship socialization. Socialized, as a result of being socialized by parents, one becomes an agent of socialization for one's children and grandchildren. It's basically becomes fixed and specified for generations. So this is how the socialization is important. So then it says value formation in parent child interaction. The pattern of dominance by father or mother gives further authority to what is learned and fixed attitude and values in the minds of children. Like what is it is observed that children of preschool age are already exposed to a competitive world. We all know nowadays children are really exposed. So parents, out of enthusiasm for proving their identity and getting approved for their status, pressurize their children to achieve excellence in studies. Yesterday, the earlier also when we talked about suicides and things like that happening due to pressure. But it is in today's generation, it is expectation that they do well in studies, sports, music, and other fields, and push them beyond their capacity and speed up their performances, So, gradually, this creates stressful feelings and inferiority complexes in children, and they become victims to physical and verbal humiliation in school and also at home. So, women's role is also affecting family values. This is again something that the role of women in both society and family is changing. The house is the pivot of society, and the woman is its center. Home, the family, the first institution which imparts self identity to an individual and where she formulates a self image. Respect and esteem the mother is given in the family greatly determines the values with which the family looks at others in society. A woman's position in the family is lower if she gives birth to a female children, you know, and generally she is looked down. She is not able to produce a son, so she is not to be given due importance. So this is something which is very much prevalent in India. If the woman is giving birth to the more children, so sometimes the person leaves his or her his wife. He leaves him. Many times this is something which we observe and see that this problem is in existence. So then we the woman's role of, yeah, so this is what is important. Now it says families values and influence of socio cultural and religious dimensions. See, this is again talks about that all members of society are under the constant supervision of parents in childhood, of friends in teenage, and of the public in adulthood. Family is where children are trained. Adults feel free to praise, criticize, suggest, and order so that children learn family preferences. So, this is something which is really important. That this is basically when we have talked about socialization, it is the family who's teaching us different ways of living. So, has been explained here. Socially, man's relationship with other human beings is diminishing. His engagements are more with the machine and technically produced means of communication. Communication, which is the medium of relationship and social connection, is no more concerned with human relationship, but media and media relating learning and knowledge. So, this is what we all are observing. It has been observed that human life and peaceful living are valued. There is little competition and there seems to be hardly any exploitation of one another. Work is done essentially in cooperation and there is no economic rivalry. Women are respected and included in the decision making process. When money, position, power are valued, individuals go up with aggression, violence, competition, and manipulations. So, this is something which has been observed. Values in family and culture. Again, it has been explained that in villages still hold on to the traditional values of hospitality, simplicity, submissiveness, and believe in God. Yeah, this is something which is generally observed in rural areas, whereas man's uniqueness consists in basically, it has been said that India is known for its unique culture, the different religions have specific cultural values and cultural expressions. So, this is observed that it says that in Indian culture is unique in comparison to West. That you probably have also observed through different ways. So, family is the place where the atmosphere of unity, integration, harmony, and respect of different beliefs and expressions become a necessary part of unified consciousness. So, this is again something which is important. So it again says values in family and religion. So all religion emphasize the need for forming a mature conscience in people. Religion provides a code of norms which will guide and enable persons to have an objective understanding of God. Religion must help people to grow in a balanced, harmonious, altruistic attitude which will result in accepting all people as one's relations, regardless of their caste, race, religion, or customs and languages. So, this is again which is important. It says that Hinduism talks of nishkarma, doing one's duty towards others and not expecting the result on action. This is also there in Hindus, that you perform your duties and do not expect anything in return. This is a kind of a belief. So, family values and attitude towards sex. So, according to a classic concept, a little boy at the age of 5 or 6 chooses his mother as her object of his sexual desires. It is a general phenomena, a general feeling where we talk about that, you know, that a male child is more feels more comfortable with the mother figure, and a girl child is more comfortable with the father figure. This is a general phenomena. The same thing is true about girls concerning their father. The upbringing of children with a positive balanced relationship with family members and outsiders at this age is essential for the growth of proper values regarding sexuality in children. So, understanding of sex as part of the body for a special purpose in the plan of God for the world has to be taught to children gradually as they mature in life. This is something which is actually very important. Now, there is in India, we have one act, that Protection of Children from Sexual Offences Act. There is one act that talks mainly about that sexual the sexuality among children, and how if the child is being sexually assaulted and there is a punishment, especially the children under 18 years of age are sexually assaulted, there are very strong punishments given for that. There are highly prescribed punishments if children under 18 years of age, whether it's a male child or a female child, is assaulted. There are different terms which have been explained about this. So, here also we have studied that when our children are growing, as per their understanding, as per their age, we have to educate them about their sexuality. So this is important for us to understand. So values in family and role of media. So again, we have seen that family atmosphere is changing drastically. The family has become small in size. The elderly and children are left alone at home, and the parents are burdened with overtime jobs. This is what is general concept. If the parents are getting older and there is nobody to care from them, and the like, if the youngsters, if the young, though they may be in 30s or 40s, even when they are working and their parents are much older, they feel it is very difficult to care for them, and they find for the old age home and things like that. So this kind of a concept is now slowly coming up in India. you know People are looking for old age home and places like that where the old age can be taken care of. So this thing is there. So concepts of values are created in children by what they see and hear in media, TV, internet, computer, and other technological devices have become a source of entertainment for both children and adults. you know it is also there because media is also playing an important role. What we see in media also somehow helps us to move on in life. So this is there. So now the next is the thing is, it is family as the agencies of a new society. See, family as the agent of a new society. There is a question also in your assignment. The assignment what you people are supposed to do, there is this question, which you need to answer. They have asked you this question. So it has explained here that family is a mini school, and it is there the children learn to relate with others. We have been reading about this, we have been talking about this again and again. So it says that philosophers and social analysts have noted that society is a structure made up of families. This is a very important. True happiness and progress of a society depends on the positive attitude and behavior of the members of its family. This is again important. Then it says family must become the basic unit of change. You know, so family as a basic and most important unit of social institution must be given special attention by education field that deals with society and progress. You know, it says a happy family is where the parents and children together experience the joy of belonging and the feeling of being cared for. The deepest needs, food, clothing, and shelter, are the basic needs of all human beings, but the happiness of a family depends on higher needs such as being loved, trusted, understood, forgiven, recognition for one's talents, gifts, and the ability to reach out to those less fortunate. This is something when we talk about this family as an agent of a new society, and you have to answer this question. So we really need to understand, family, why the family is so important. We have studied about the maturity, we have studied in detail about many different aspects of family. So we can take on those aspects what we have studied earlier today only, and how we can relate, how we understand that, being loved, trusted, understood, forgiving, recognition. We all know, since the humanity is there in picture, we all know that food, shelter, and clothing are the three main important aspect. Without that one cannot live. So this is something which is there in society. We all can get this in society, but with that, what all we need is, kind of emotional support, kind of a feeling comfortable in the family. We can talk and share our wishes, our issues with them. So all that we can fulfill through the family environment. So it says schools have a vital role in the attitudinal change and inculcation of values in children. This has to be done in cooperation with families. So in India there is a concept of parent teacher association meetings, where once in a month the parents are called in schools and discuss the issues related to a child. So this concept is there in existence. This is again a way of understanding your child through the perspective of schools issues, different things. Otherwise, what all there is in the personality of the child, how one can improve. There is a way to understand your child through parent teacher meeting. So this is something which has been explained over here. Then it says parents focus on value clarification. It is again very important that children need to see, hear parents doing and talking what they believe in. Mostly children learn from adults through imitation when they are young, and through reasoning when they grow up. It is there, it is a common phenomena. We all understand the children many times imitate. Even, it is also observed that child treats somebody as his role model, and then like to behave the way he sees that other person whom he consider as his model. Sometimes the children feels one of the teacher as the role model. He or she may develop some kind of a liking for that person and then behave like that. So this is what it is. So, therefore, every family's first priority in training and educating children must begin with the question of personal identity. It is important, for the child to develop his or own identity. Understanding of personal, social, and spiritual relationship will grow in children through their experience in the family with the interaction with one another day in and day out. That is very important. Psychologists have come to the conclusion that you know, positive thinking is the secret of happiness. In order to grow up positive thinking, one must be exposed to positive strokes. Positive strokes can be effective in families for proper self image and upbringing of children. Case studies show that most unhappy and violent people have been those whose childhood was spent with adults who were strict, constantly nagging, criticizing, condemning. It is actually observed that if the family background of any person is not good, that affects that child in his younger age, and when that child grows older, it affects his overall personality, his attitude, his behavior has an expression of what he has seen in his childhood due to his family's environment. That makes a lot of difference. So, allowing children to grow up with clearly defined freedom, respect, love, encouragement, and appreciation will result in making new generations of good citizens for the nation. So, this is very important. Therefore, the parents must concentrate on giving positive strokes to the children in order to direct them towards a new value system, making family agents of social change. So, marriage is a point of departure in which boys and girls, brothers and sisters, realize themselves as persons with responsibilities in life from individual ties with other person and appear mature and able to make decisions for life. So this is something which is very important, how a family is a important aspect to bring, is a kind of considered as an agent in new society. Here in this only, I have not written here. And this is the last slide for today's session. From tomorrow, we will go to the unit 4. Tomorrow means on Thursday, we will have a class now. So tomorrow and day after, we don't have a class. So on Thursday, we will talk about the next unit. But in this unit, there are certain recommendations, certain things have been given. I don't know. If you want, I can read out. Otherwise, this is something which you can read on your own. This is again a very basic concept about certain recommendation, what one can understand about, family life, about that. So, if now we can still have for 5 minutes any discussions or any questions you have in mind, we can talk for 5-10 minutes for that. No questions. No questions, no, nothing. Nobody has any questions.
Yes, I think no question regarding to that. It seems like we understood better. So, but
Okay.
I just have some remarks about about the issue of the family. According to my own understanding,
Mm-hmm.
you are saying the word family, it derives from the words. I think is based on my own ideology. When two or more people coming together have the common interest in order to form a union called family, right? So,
See,
for instance, some I do used to see some people whereby before getting married, the woman should deliver a baby to man. So how can I? Is it a family or not? How can we call this thing? Because in here in Nigeria, sometimes you will see, most especially the Christians, there is one award what usually used to say auren zaga. Before having marriage, you must have some, some interrelation, some sex relation between you and the women before he deliver a baby to you. Yet then you can decide to marry. So I don't know how can we fit. Is it which kind of marriage this thing is? Is it? I don't know how should I this. I need more light on it. I don't know whether you have experienced such kind of things in India.
See, in India, this a woman delivering a child before marriage is something which is has its own repercussions, has its own issues. In India, there is a concept of adoption where unmarried mother, if she is not willing to keep the child, she can go and give up that child for adoption. You know, if she feels that she may not get the support of her family to raise that child, she goes. There is a body that is known as Child Welfare Committee. She can goes to that body and gives up her rights on that child. That is legally acceptable in India. That is permitted in India. Through that, that child is then declared legally free for adoption and is given in adoption to the family whosoever is willing for accepting that child. You know, so this is how it is. This is how it goes. But again, it depends. You know, it is there. It is a known phenomena, whether it is India or it is your country, that before marriage, if somebody is delivering a child, that is not considered good. Maybe, see, it has happened due to the will of both a boy and a girl. But girl has to face the circumstances. The boy is hidden. Boy is not in the picture. Generally, boys' whereabouts or also sometimes the boys goes missing. He even doesn't even come in front. So that kind of circumstances also happens. That kind of things also takes place. And as I have told you people that I worked in child protection field from last 25 years. So I have been working in this area. I know what all repercussions the children, especially under 18 girls, when they are not married, and if they had gone with the boy and then they deliver a baby, due to the like, if that she becomes pregnant and tomorrow she delivers a baby, so sometimes the problems come, the issues come, there are many issues, you know that are there. But there are legal ways uh, to somehow to kind of surrender that child, that can be given in adoption for his or her better future. Anas, you want to say something?
Yes, ma. I think it's not only in Christianity, because in every religion, I think to deliver a child before marriage is prohibited.
Mm-hmm.
What makes people used to do this is that if their culture is more strong than their religion, they used to do that. It's not only in Christianity, man and woman come together and deliver a child before their marriage. In
Mm-hmm.
tribes here in Nigeria, according to some tribes, they
Mm-hmm.
used to they used to deliver a child before they married. I think it's not only in Christianity. That's what I want
Yeah,
to add
this
on
is
what
yeah,
Faisal
this
said.
is something. Yeah, this is in see, what I was sharing with you people is about Hindus, mostly the Hindu culture where the girl and boy are in relationship, and tomorrow the girl delivers a baby and boy is not even willing to accept that girl, and then she has a thing where there is a place where she can at least surrender the baby, and the life of that child is saved. But tomorrow, if the couple who were in relationship, even the child is born before marriage and decides to get married at later age, that is also acceptable. In India also, this concept of live-in relationship is developing, and especially in cities, the main major metro cities, there are many couples who are in relationship and are in live-in relationship. They are not married, but it happens in many cases where the girl eventually delivers a baby before marriage. So it depends on the couple what decision they take for the betterment of that child, whether they raise a child or they give up the child. It is, entirely their decision, and it is acceptable as Indian law permits if they want to surrender the child.
Okay, I think Ahmad Buba is online. The one that asked you yesterday on Friday on state or what
State
you
and
asked.
nation, yeah. Who's
Yes,
there? Can you raise the hand? The
it's
person who was there.
it's Ahmad Buba. I saw him once in the screen.
But ma,
Is he
yes, you
still?
can, yes, you can clarify it for us because I was not, I was, I came late. I even know the start
Okay.
was not started. Yeah.
Ahmad
Okay.
Buba has
See.
left, man.
Huh. Acha. Okay. Now, what do we do? Now, do I ask in very brief, that person, if the person is still not there, we can take up. Anyway,
He
I
is not
still,
there, ma. He is
huh?
not there. He left the group. He left the
Huh.
group.
If he left, we can still take up this issue. You will again. You remind me on Thursday. I can take up this issue on Thursday also. I would like you all should be there when I talk about it. And for your clarity, I have done one thing, that my PPT, that the last PPT of block 2, I have in that PPT, I have added one slide that explains the difference between state and nation, that will clarify your issues. It will be for use to all of you. You all can see when I will share. I have many of you were there when director Mr. Tripathi was there in the beginning of the session, and I told him that on Friday I will share with him all the 4 PPTs. He will share with you all. So in the second block PPT, I have uh, explained this issue of state and nation. But I will take up this issue when that person who had asked me this question, if he will be there on Thursday or Friday, I will still explain that. Okay.
Okay, ma.
Yeah. Somebody else has a question? Any other question? Yes, Dennis.
Well, I would like to thank everyone who decided to bring up his contribution on today's lecture. Thank you so much. And I would like to thank you, Madam, for
Hmm.
being cooperative with us. Good
Yeah,
work
you
done.
all, I would be very happy. Maybe today we
Yes,
still
my
have
question,
question. Yeah.
do you think educational levels hold the part in choosing a marriage partner today and why?
I didn't get it. I'm sorry. I'm not clear.
Do you,
I'm
Madam,
not understanding.
the
Hmm.
question is, do you think education levels hold the part in choosing a marriage partner today and why? The level of
Oh my.
education, can it hold a certain part in choosing a marriage partner today?
Hmm. Can you write it down? I don't know. Somehow I'm not able to get your
Okay, okay,
question
okay.
clearly. I'm sorry.
Okay,
I,
let me write it down here.
if you write it down, maybe it will help me to
You know,
understand and respond to your
think
query.
educational levels.
For me, do you have class by tomorrow?
No, not tomorrow. Tomorrow and day after there is no class. Now the next class is on 9th. Today is 6th. It will, for next 2 days
Hold the
there is no
part
class. It will be on 9th. That is Thursday.
Okay, ma. Thank you.
in choosing a marriage partner.
Thank you for today.
I would really appreciate that if it is a more interactive session. I enjoy if there are more questions and if I answer to your queries. Education levels hold part in choosing a marriage partner and why? See, it again depends. It depends if there are educated people, if there is a education, if they are educated, they would like to have a educated partner. But if again in today's scenario, even if I go to village setting, in village, even in India, even in today's time, the education level is not really very high. So there, the education level doesn't really make a lot of difference to choose a life partner. It is still a
Mm.
decision that is taken by the families of a girl. Generally, if it is a girl, or even in case of a boy, it is no education. Most of the cases, it doesn't really matter a lot. But when I again come back to the cities, to the metros, where the both girls and boys are educated, they have their educational background, for them,
Yes.
education makes a lot of difference. If for example, if just to say, if somebody is a postgraduate or has done MBA or is a doctor, that person generally likes to marry a same profession person, if not the same, at least who has the same level of mental capacity and understanding. This is generally a criteria, just this is generally a thought process in India, and especially the people who are qualified and who are living in cities or in metros. This is a way how it goes. Otherwise, in routine, not really. Education in general doesn't really make much of a difference, in most of the people.
Yes.
And then especially if I go to the lower, we studied about this class system. So in class system, if I go to a lower class society, there this doesn't make a difference, and especially in rural India, it will not really have much of an impact. That's there.
Thank, thank you, madam.
Thank you very
Yeah.
much for that clarity.
Okay. Okay, goodbye to all of you, and now we will meet on Thursday. Okay?
Oh,
Yeah,
okay, madam.
yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye. Enjoy yourself.
Bye.
Good, Mama.
All right, bye bye.